I took a survey of all my newsletter subscribers and asked what are some of your challenges when it comes to making content. And the number one thing was staying consistent. And I get it because you're running a business. You might be working a 9 to 5, going to school, have kids. Some days you're just not going to feel like it too. And I completely get it. So I'm here with 10 different things that you can do to make staying consistent with your content a lot easier and realistic. And before we get into it, my name is Whitney Chanell. I'm a social media marketer, and I have a weekly newsletter called Make the Content, where I give you social media marketing tips, content tips, social media platform news, and different ways that you can monetize social media straight to your inbox for free. If you're interested in subscribing, there's a link in the description box, and we're going to get straight into it. The first thing that you can do to stay consistent is be realistic. Be realistic with how much content you can actually make and put out. Don't compare yourself to people who have entire teams. They have somebody editing their content, maybe scripting their content, making their graphics or their thumbnails, or planning their content, or managing their account. If you're one person, you can only do one person's for the content. And that is okay. So be realistic with how much content that you can put out because it can start to feel very discouraging if you feel like you just can't keep up and you just can't make enough content. Be realistic with how much content you can make. The second thing that you can do is set some goals. You should be setting goals either way. So I want you to do me a favor after this video, go and Google SMART goals. And that's going to tell you exactly how you can set specific goals that are going to be effective. If you'd like me to do a full video on that, tell me in the comments and I don't mind, but it's too much for this video. People always ask me, how much content should they be posting? My answer is always, it depends on your goals. If your goal is to get 5 sales a week, you're not going to need to make as much content if your goal is to make 50 sales a week. And everybody wants more sales, more followers, but you have to be specific about how many more followers, how much sales, and by when. And those goals should be realistic to your life and how much you can actually work. So when you set goals, it's going to also help you be realistic. Third, this is going to help you grow. Focus on one platform, just one. I know. You've probably been told you need to be on a bunch of different platforms where you see people on a bunch of different platforms, but I promise you, you'll only need to focus on growing an audience on one platform at least at a time. When you think about it, every major content creator that you can think of, they're known for one platform. Kai Sanat is known for Twitch. You have Logan Paul, who's known for YouTube. Mr. Beast is known for YouTube. You have certain people who are known for being on TikTok, like Cabby. I forget his last name, but you know who I'm talking about. There are certain people who are known for being on Twitter, like Wendy's. You don't have to have a huge following on every platform. And the truth is, if you grow an audience on one platform, they will come find your other platforms if they're interested. And now that doesn't mean that you don't have to post on any other platforms. I mean, you don't have to, but save all of your energy for one platform and then you can repurpose some of your content for other platforms. Or what I like to do, or what I tell clients to do, is take your best performing, for example, if you're on TikTok, take your best performing TikToks and repurpose them for Instagram. Or you can take your best performing Twitter threads, if that's your platform, and repurpose them on Instagram as carousels, which I do all the time. So pick one platform to grow on and stick with it. If you have any leftover energy, go ahead and post on the others, but just don't feel like you have to be on every platform, and stay on one to grow. And I tell people, once you have one platform down and you're able to stay consistent on it and you've already figured out what works and you're growing on it, then you can add another platform to the mix. The fourth thing I want you to do to stay consistent with your content is to be patient. And you're probably wondering, how is being patient going to make me more consistent? Well, a big part of being consistent is your mindset. Because if we're honest and we're real with ourselves, we all have 10 minutes, 15 minutes that we could squeeze in some content here and there. It really doesn't take much. Content doesn't have to be complicated, but it's our mindset that gets in the way. That's why, when you feel overwhelmed, you feel like you don't know where to start, you feel like your content isn't performing well enough. I'm not getting enough views. I'm not getting engagement. Nobody's commenting. Nobody's seeing this. It's not working. It takes time to get good at making content. The only way that you can get better at it is to make it and post it. So be patient and give yourself time to grow. Give yourself time to get better and just take the journey for what it is. And if you change your mindset to look at content as practice, then you will be in a lot better headspace to stay consistent. You'll be a lot more motivated to stay consistent with your content. The fifth thing is repurposing your content. This is my favorite, and this is something that I have gotten very good at, repurposing your content. You don't have to make as much new content as you think, or you don't have to come up with as much new information for your content as you think. So, what does that mean? When you know who your target audience is and you know what your messaging is, you know what you want them to know, or you know what information you're trying to get across to them, all you have to do is take that information and repackage it different ways. Maybe that looks like taking the same text on a video and just putting it on top of another video. Maybe that looks like taking a Twitter thread that performed really well and turning it into a Instagram carousel. Then you can take that carousel or that Twitter thread and then turn it into an email. You can take that email and turn it into a more in-depth, long form video for YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Repurposing your content is going to help you stay consistent because you're going to realize you don't have to make as much new content as you think. You can also take something old that performed well and post it again or remix it. I mean, give it a different caption, reintroduce it. We all know most people who follow us don't see our content the first time, and it takes 7 to 10 times for someone to see something before it even makes them take action. So post that shit again. Now, to make repurposing your content even easier, repurposing should be planned when you plan your content. That brings us to the sixth thing you can do to make staying consistent easier is plan your content. When you don't have to think about what to post, it's a lot easier to post because the hard part is already figured out. So you can plan your content for a month at a time. You can plan your content just the weekend before. Do what works best for your schedule. Plan out as far ahead as makes sense for you. But when you plan your content, you'll take your topics that you're going to be covering or focusing on for that week or that month or whatever. And then you figure out different ways that you're going to use content to get that message across. And then you can figure out, like, okay, for example, I'm going to go live. Let's say you're going to go live, and then maybe part of your plan is to take that live and then turn it into shorter clips that you can post throughout the rest of the month. Now you're planning ahead of how you can do something once and use it multiple times. Planning your content is going to make it easier to stay consistent because it's going to help you not have to create as much. The seventh thing that you can do is batch creating content. Now, batch creating content looks different for everyone. For some people, that might be taking a weekend at the beginning of the month and making all your content for the month, or that could be taking one day out of the weekend and making content for the upcoming week. It all depends on how far ahead you plan your content and what works best for your schedule. That might mean taking a couple hours and making some content that gets you through half the week. Whatever is, again, realistic for you, batch create some content because you're not going to feel like making content every day. You're definitely not going to have time to make content every day. And if you are making content every day off the whim, no plan, just vibes, it's not going to be very effective anyways. So batch create your content. The eighth thing is scheduling your content. You know how many times I had content planned, it was already made, and I was like, I'm gonna post this at this time, and that time came and went, and it was like, dang, I forgot to post that. If you have it scheduled, then throughout your day, you can just hop on social media and engage with people who are engaging with your posts. You don't have to do any thinking. You can multitask. You can get so much other stuff done. The ninth thing is using AI. Now, I am not talking about using ChatGPT to write your captions and then just copy pasting. Please do not do that. But you can use ChatGPT to come up with content ideas to make planning your content faster. You can use it to give you video scripts. There's video editors out there that make editing faster. My favorite one right now is Descript, and it allows you to edit your videos from the text. And so you can like actually see, then just delete words and it'll delete that part of the video out. Plus, it does so much other stuff. There are also AI tools that will turn your long form content into short clips for you. So use AI to your advantage, make content creation faster. It'll be easier to stay consistent. And finally, the last thing on my list is to hire help. Now, I know everybody might not be in a position to pay people to help them. This does not have to mean going and hiring a full time video editor. Hiring people to help you does not have to be expensive. So, for example, I went on Fiverr and I found somebody who could make me some Instagram templates so that all my content can look uniform, can look nice. Now all I have to do is plug my information into the templates. I found that I was spending hours in Canva because designing is not my strength and it was just taking me too long. So whatever takes you the longest amount of time to do, see if you can outsource that. And if you're not able to pay somebody to help you with anything yet, at least look and get an idea of how much help will cost because as your business grows, you're going to need help. And if you know this is how much it's going to cost me to hire somebody to edit my video, then that affects what your sales goals are. And then what your sales goals are affects how much content you need to make. And so you see how all of these things on this list actually kind of go hand in hand and help each other and build on each other. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, it helps me out so much. It'll help this video find other people who could benefit from it too. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next one.